So, I was walking down the street the other day when I heard what sounded like a boom, and then Sophie came in saying, "Can it squirrel?" And I get decked in the face. And I look up and I see a dot,
Ru-
and
I'm going
Rump,
after her. She was heading to the mansion with
we're
the
currently
cash.
live. You'll have to
I'm
continue
going
that
up
later.
top via the
yeah,
catacombs.
sorry, it's just damn Sophie and his bounce ability. He bounces like a goddamn gummy bear, here, there, and everywhere.
Also, I hope for the next 6 parts you're ready to see me act like a complete and utter fucking idiot.
Always.
It's almost like it's the norm for the channel.
Batman.
So I do want to bring up. Well, I mentioned off screen that I was able to get a 3DS emulator working.
Sorry, took a little longer to find them than I figured it would.
Oh, I'm
Before I
sorry.
forget,
I'll try and be more precise next time I'm planning an island takeover.
this is coming in loud, and I don't know if I have.
Yeah? Calling all cars! Calling all cars!
Hang on, I'm turning the audio down low because it's coming in a little loud on my end. Anyway, but so speaking of emulators, there is a Xbox 360 emulator. And there were a handful of games. If I can get them working, there are a handful of games I want to use on that. And the only reason I use an emulator is because one, I do not currently have an Xbox 360, and two, there are games that I do. There are games that I do want to play and show off for the channel.
Good thing you brought that up with me because I know a place. Here, I'll drop it for you.
Oh, thanks.
Yep, it's a great place for all your emulator needs.
Yeah, I know. I know of Vim's Lair.
Yep.
That's where I get most of. That's where I get most of my ROMs. But you didn't. You did.
Get onto us.
Yeah, you didn't hear that from us. Anyway. But
remember our plan. If we get caught, the squirrel is the patsy. What?
Yeah, if we get caught, it's the squirrel's fault.
The patsy. You're a squirrel. They can't legally convict you.
Digging deeper into Dr. Young, according to her bank records, there have been multiple.
Explains all the murders they got away with.
Until 2 months ago. Nothing.
Okay, glossing over that.
I'm just gonna.
One of Joker's oldest aliases. So
I'm going to ignore
Joker
that
pays
for
Dr.
plausible
Young to create his
deniability.
army, and then all of a sudden he stops. Doesn't make any sense.
Anyway, but one of the games that I did want to try and record, if I can get it, if I can get everything set up, which shouldn't be too hard. So in the 2010s, George Miller, you know, the guy who did fucking Mad Max, was working on a Justice League film.
The man who did Babe 2, the legend? Holy crap!
The guy who did what?
Babe 2, Babe Pig in the City.
You know,
fucking joking.
You know, no, I know he did that. It drives me nuts because a lot of the times I keep forgetting he did that movie. Because it's like, oh, he did Mad Max. There's the Furiosa movie coming out. No, he did Babe. He did well, specifically like Babe 2. It's like, fuck you. It's a great movie. Like just in general, like he does some good movies, but
You think that's crazy? You should see Peter Jackson's filmography sometime.
Dr. Young put a block on her account.
Sounds
hey,
like she
I
had to
own
change her car. She tried to block the payments. Joker
somewhere.
Like it when his
I don't know
partners
where
try
I
to
have
run
it, but
So he decided to get himself back to Arkham, find his formula, and create the army.
I have an
himself.
extended edition of
Exactly.
Peter Jackson's King Kong.
Not just talking about King Kong, hon.
Oh, I know. He did King Kong, he did everyone knows Lord of the Rings Hobbit.
And the second.
Wasn't like one of his first ones called like Brain Dead or something?
Dead, aka Dead Alive.
Yeah, Dead Alive. Which I haven't seen. I know of. I haven't seen. He's done some weird films, but going back to the King Kong, his King Kong. That is the only time I've owned a DVD copy of a film that the DVD itself says, okay, now put in disc 2 to finish the movie. And is the weirdest fucking
No
experiences
mystery
to
why
me.
she's so scared.
That,
I'm coming up to the surface.
Did not
Because-
shut off VCR.
yeah, it's because the only other times I'm used to that happening is either a VCR or a video game that's broken into multiple discs. Also, I glide back over here not realizing that this is still not the fucking way to go. I get lost a lot in these 6 parts. The 6 parts that I have recorded for now.
This is
Anyway,
6, right?
Yeah, this is part 6.
Yeah. Yeah, I try to remember these, but I think I brain my damage.
Anyway,
Damn squirrel with his bouncing.
anyway, going back to what I was saying about George Miller. So he was working on a Justice League movie, which would have been, hang on. Sorry, I got food in my mouth. Which would have been based on the Justice League Tower of Babel storyline. So the one where the villains use Batman's contingency plans for the Justice League to essentially try and kill the Justice League. At the same time that game was being worked at the same time the movie was being worked on, I'm sorry. There was a game that was also being developed that more or less was completely finished. And that game was leaked and you can play it. But yeah, I actually did want to play it for the channel because I tried it. Unfortunately, I was only able to use it using an emulator because, of course, I don't have 360, and even if I had 360, I'd need a modded one to play it. But yeah, no, it's basically a 3D beat 'em up. It reminds me a lot of the Marvel Ultimate Alliance, but with a over-the-shoulder camera angle. And instead of having 4 characters that you switch between, you only have technically 2. You have the character you play as, and then you have a character that you can summon to do special effects. Like, say you're in a level and you're playing as Batman, but you have the Flash. You can actually activating the Flash has him.
It wasn't much of a challenge. I was running out of time.
Shut up, Ruler. Activating the Flash will actually slow down enemies around you, which is really cool. But like each character that you have help you has a different ability. So it's a really cool it's a really cool game, and it's one that I recommend like try if you can get the Xenia Xbox emulator working, like try it. Because it's worth at least attempting. Hilariously enough, the game, that Justice League game, ended up getting turned into the only good thing about the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie. Because that was turned into the game tie-in for the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern, and it's an example where it's basically a X-Men Origins Wolverine example where the game is better than the movie. So, at the very least, the developers' work didn't completely go to waste, but it is saddening that they couldn't because after the movie got canceled, that game was originally going to be that game was gonna still be released as a standalone game, just called Justice League Arcade. And then I guess the game got canceled shortly after, which really sucks because I think the only thing that's not finished of the game is the cutscenes, which would have been in a sort of comic books art style. They use temporary voices first off, and then on top of that, they are
Who am I kidding? You don't have any.
all of the cutscenes are still in an animatic form.
Looks like the Blackgate thugs have access to
Yeah.
the armory.
You know, that plot line got me thinking. I wonder if that was recycled because that whole Batman contingency plan thing reminds me of an animated feature called Justice League Doom.
Justice League Doom.
Did you ever see it?
I not only have I seen it, I own a copy of the movie, and that
Cool.
I would love to do a movie night because we haven't done that in a while. I would love to do a movie night and do a couple of the animated films.
Yeah. Glitchy, there's snipers in the tower. Get out of there.
I know there are snipers in the tower. Unfortunately, past me is too stupid to realize where the sniper fire is coming from.
Oh, isn't that cute? Little bat's asleepin'. Someone finish him off.
You want to know the worst part?
What?
I actually died twice to the same sniper.
Are you kidding? Glitchy.
And, okay, in my defense, because that time while I was recording, that time I didn't realize that there was still a sniper shooting me until it was too late.
Don't worry about it. I put surprises along.
The second time I actually try gliding to the sniper, and the sniper shoots me down as I'm gliding towards him.
There's very little chance of you getting hurt.
Like, it's still, I'm not saying it's not embarrassing, but at the very least it's at least because you'll see it here.
Access to the armory.
At least that time is
Hey, someone
slightly
help that
more
baby.
understandable. Want to remind everyone, last time before this playthrough, last time I played this game was like 2013. So it's been a while.
Oh, and did you hear a shot in the dark?
Glitchy, you think we should go hunting sometime?
No.
Oh, I'm just saying. Sophie, no.
I want to check your health insurance.
No.
My kid, you don't have any.
Plus, Sophie, take into account who you're
Looks
asking.
like the Blackgate thugs have access to the armory.
You're asking a pacifist if he wants to go hunting with you.
You're a pacifist?
Pacifist by nature.
Then why do you have a sword?
You asked me this before.
I did?
Don't remember which playthrough, but you did ask me this before. And like I said, pacifist by nature. It's kind of I will fight if I actually feel the need to fight. Just 90% of the time, I don't feel the need to fight.
Huh.
Besides, canonically, the sword was passed down through generations. So it's basically the only reason I have a sword is because it was my father's sword, as it was his father's before him and his father's before him, and so on and so forth.
No, it's not. So, you're the famous joker.
All the way back to your great grandfather who won in a poker tournament. I think I offended him.
No, I'm just thinking because one of the concepts I had one of the concepts I had for Time for Chronicles, which is where a lot of my character's lore comes from. I think one of the funnier things is one of the concepts which I haven't fully gotten rid of is technically the first member in the family line in Glitch's family line is also the last member in his family line, so it's essentially just one large time loop. Because time travel is weird and stupid.
My own great grandfather. What of it?
Well, Glitch isn't his like great, however many grandfather. It's more he is his one of his descendants is also his ancestor, basically. It just kind of loops back around.
Oh, Glitch, you really screwed the granny this time.
We in the time travel business call that pulling a fry. Which I love even more. I love the Christmas episode that we got of the recent season of Futurama, where Fry's just like, these things happen, and Leela immediately is like, no, they don't.
These things happen.
No, they don't.
They do not know.
Well done. You passed the elementary grade.
Speaking of time travel, though, the first episode of Doctor Who's new season actually premiered yesterday, and that episode, the very first thing that happens is one of the main characters steps on a butterfly and just kind of changes the entire course of history, and the doctor's like, hey, hang on, get off that butterfly, I'm gonna resurrect it so time actually doesn't screw up.
That's funny.
It's one of the few times, because it's not the first time they've made a butterfly effect joke.
I'd like to hear all your feedback on the place. I'm especially proud of the decor.
Can't think of something.
More productive.
It's not one of the first. It's not the first time they made a butterfly effect joke, but it's the first time that we've actually seen the butterfly effect in real time. Otherwise, that episode, like for a first episode of a new season, that episode was just kind of mediocre. Although I haven't seen the second episode. We got two episodes that made me real happy. I haven't seen the second episode. The second episode actually has them go back in time and meet the Beatles.
Nice.
And it's funny to me because they've been trying to get an episode where they meet the Beatles ever since William Hartnell, the first Doctor. So it does make me happy that they finally did have an episode where they meet the Beatles.
Going up.
Hey, I've got a cousin in Metropolis who needs some hands. Knocking on doors. Money.
Or want to punch the thugs, but I've been shot like 8 times tonight. I don't think it's working as well as I think.
Sounds great. I'm up for that.
Huh?
Damn, his neck snapped like a...
There's a ton of situations where I'm like 90% sure Batman technically killed someone.
Yeah.
Someone in our other Discord server asked me how much a 3DS capture card is. So a 3DS capture card you can technically get for like 200, not counting shipping. But that's 200 and to get someone to install it for you. 120 if you want to install it yourself. I do not trust myself to install it myself because of just how compact the insides of a 3DS is, that I'm pretty sure if I attempt that, I'm going to break something.
Mm.
And my current 3DS is already at a point that is... my current 3DS is already at a point that it
Gotham's
really does
veins
need a...
slowly filled with pain and suffering.
Can't think of something.
The effect
My 3DS is at a point where I already need to do a bit of repairs. Because I have a new 3DS that is for the most part in good quality. The L and R buttons don't work.
Hmm.
Or not the L and R buttons. The L and ZL and L buttons. So the left triggers don't work. And that's
incoming.
Joker does.
I don't remember why they stopped working. But what's worse is I tried to repair them, and it is a thin-ass ribbon cable. And in the attempt of trying to repair them, the ribbon cable ended up snapping. So, yeah. Granted, at the time I didn't have the proper tools. I'm hoping to get... eventually, I need to just get a secondary ribbon cable and get that fixed. Now, there is a way to basically stream your 3DS footage to your computer, but doing that, it's not worth it because the quality is just not good. The only other alternative is using a 3DS emulator, and even then, it's like... The reason I want a capture card is... the reason I want a capture card is because a capture card, you get 100% compatibility with games. Whereas an emulator, there are many games that do not work. Either they don't work, or the compatibility is iffy. And with Nintendo shutting down emulators, chances are we're gonna get to a point where not every game's ever gonna be compatible, which really sucks.
Another thing bugging me. What's an air vent in the middle of a statue? You saw that. You saw that, right? The statue had an air vent on the middle of its platform.
Yeah, you need to vent air. Make sure the statue doesn't get too hot.
It's a statue.
Yeah.
Why would it be hot?
Yeah, you just gotta be sure.
Okay, I swear to God, whoever designed this place is the reason why everyone's breaking out of here.
Well, that and the corrupt cops in Gotham, about 70 other things.
I blame the Penguin.
I wouldn't blame the Penguin. I blame Quincy Sharp, but mostly not because he's intentionally laying these people out, but more he's just incompetent. Oh, also, Rumpy, you want to feel old?
Are you looking at guy? Are you? Where did she go?
Bastard.
I still haven't been able to catch any of those movies in
What's that
theaters yet.
color do? Why is it making
or
that
at least
noise?
not the
It's the suicide
re-releases,
caller. It sounds
which
weird.
saddens me.
Suicide caller.
Well, they've got some other name, but, well, we just use them to monitor patients' heartbeats. If it drops too low, the alarm goes off and a crash team rushes in.
And so does my crew if you trigger one. How do you like them apples, Bats? Standing around in the... let's see. The West Wing. They'd be
Would
there
you be
now
interested
if
if
they weren't
I
busy knocking a little
if I did
sense into cash.
if I record a
I'll tell you
playthrough
what,
of
I won't spoil the surprise and let them know you're coming.
Oh my gosh, hang on. I lost my train of thought there, but because I saw an image and I need to share this image with you.
I was about to say, the squirrel punch you too? Keep punching everybody.
I
When will
mean,
the
he's
madness stop? When? When? Had a set up there and. Oh, yeah,
any
that one's funny.
yeah, anyway, what I was getting at,
Never leaves anyone alive.
would you be interested in me doing a playthrough of
So what? We just
Arkham
wait here?
Origins and Origins Blackgate?
Yeah, I would be interested in sitting in on those.
I mean, it'll probably be a bit before I do. I don't know what what playthrough I feel like doing after Arkham, because I've definitely got quite a handful of games that I can easily play. Although, have you ever heard of a game called Enslaved: Odyssey to the West?
You're gonna need more than that.
Grumpy?
Why you? Hey,
I think we lost the rump. Just to be safe, I'm gonna activate one of my special... Oh. Just to be safe, I'm going to activate one of my special soundboard things. Once I remember where my soundboard is.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, my soundboard was acting up. I don't know what happened.
Has anyone actually checked off one of
I was
those
about to,
tasks
speaking
yet?
of soundboards, I was about to pull mine up to see to double check, and then I saw your notification saying, "Hey, hey, my thing's being weird."
You know what else is being weird?
man, someone should get rid of this dusty crap.
My plumbing. I think my fart knocked him out.
I didn't hear anything.
Glitchy.
What?
Oh, I think Glitchy's dead. Oh well.
What?
Anymore. Stay silent and I'll be back.
I'm so lonely without Glitchy now. You still have me? I'm so
I'm
lonely.
so lonely.
Anyway,
Hey, thanks, Rump. I appreciate the confidence. You're welcome.
The downside is I can hear him. He can't hear me, so I'm gonna be right back.
Hey,
Can you
did we
hear me?
crash?
Can you hear me now? No, we didn't crash.
Where's our streaming?
There it is. We didn't crash. I opened up my soundboard, and I think I think there's like the recent update or something is just weird.
Off one of those tasks yet?
I
Oh,
will
by
put it
the
in the
way,
technical difficulties.
Grumpy.
Yeah. Ow! Why
Okay.
did you do that?
I'm just making sure it's working.
Great, now I gotta deal with you and the Mad Puncher? That's
Yeah.
right, sucker! Oh!
Wilhelm!
Oh my god. He took out Wilhelm. When will this madness end? Never!
Alright, I'm gonna stop messing with my soundboard. I'm gonna stop messing with it for now. I'll probably get back to it later.
Damn squirrel. Kicking my ass.
I can't remember if I die here, but if I do, I know one of the things that cracks me up is I kept grappling back over to the exact same location and just kept picking up Joker goons at the same gargoyle. And they wouldn't put two and two together that, maybe Batman will be at this gargoyle. We should probably make sure he doesn't, get another one of us and stay at this gargoyle. Fine, I'm leaving. That happens way too many times that it's just every time it always cracks me up that I walk past a good and none of them notice me.
Well, you're Batman. You can just Batman.
Time to do my man batting. Wait.
Wrong character, dumbass.
Man, that was almost cool.
That was anticlimactic, man. Going up.
It. Man, I'm thinking of different like, I'm looking over at my games and trying to think like what game would I do after we finally finish Arkham? I'm looking over at my Doctor Who shelf and it's like, I could do Doctor Who games, but most of the Doctor Who games fucking suck. Ow.
I mean, it'd be funny to watch you lose your mind.
I wouldn't lose my mind. It's just
to say that you're fine when you're not really
Oh, I'd
fine.
like
You
to
just
thank
can't
my
get into it
fans
because they
for
would
their
never.
undying support, and the people of Gotham, who I'll be seeing very, very soon.
I do have a decent chunk of games that I could easily play.
Yeah.
I have Epic Mickey. You easily do.
Cool.
Yeah, I have. I actually have both Epic Mickey games. The only one I don't have is the 3DS one. Yes, I know it's the end of the part. Give me a sec. Let's see you guys next time.